North High Court in Mahikeng is today expected to hand down judgment in the trial of former Deputy Police Commissioner in the province, General Mzondase Mpembe, beg your pardon, and 3 other senior police officials. The 4 face charges of defeating the ends of justice by allegedly concealing information on circumstances surrounding the death of Modisaotsile Sagalala. It's alleged that Sagalala, who had sustained a gunshot wound to the chest, died in a police vehicle after being arrested when Lonmin mine workers participated in a wage strike, and that, of course, taking place on the 16th of August in 2012. For more on this, we're joined in studio by Newsroom Africa's managing editor, Modisaotsile, who's actually covered the Marikana massacre quite extensively. You'll forgive me on some of my pronunciations there. Perhaps let's begin by placing this particular case, right? There were moments leading up to Marikana, the massacre itself, that in some instances don't get as much attention. And this particular case is alluding to one of those.
So this particular man, Ayanda, was among the mine workers that were killed on the 16th of August, as we saw in front. Some of them were in front of the police, in fact, the television cameras, but others were behind a gopi. So it's believed that he was at what was called, is now known as scene 2, which is the gopi, where we don't get to understand what exactly happened there. Now, it's believed that he was actually behind the vehicle, the police vehicle, while they were being driven to the detention center. But strangely, his hands were tied. And then he had been shot in the chest. And when, you know, there are others that are claiming in their statements when they told IPID, they were saying that as they were being driven to the detention center, because at that time they were going to be processed at Lonmin and then taken to the police station, was that they did make the police aware that he's bleeding and he's bleeding to death and he's going to die. But they claim, some of the officers were saying, no, let him die, it's fine. You know, they also killed people. And eventually when they reached that particular destination, unfortunately he passed on. But I must say that covering the commission, Mzondase Sagalala's son was always there every day, saying that he's wondering when his father's matter will actually be heard, because he wants to understand what led to his death.
Absolutely. It also gives you the impression that this is just one of many other atrocities that took place around the massacre itself.
Definitely. And when you think about it, because this particular death also zooms into a Phumzile Sagalala who was killed 3 days before the massacre. And that particular death, Ayanda, is very strange because it was across a stream just outside a shack, but it's not known who shot him.
Wow.
During that scuffle where the 2 police officers ended up dying. But his body was found across the stream. And then you've got another body that was found in the same morning, just before the police officers were killed, just, you know, nearby a stream, again in a different location, that was stabbed 18 times. So all these families are now trying to figure out what happened. While on the 14th as well, there was another man killed behind the gopi and an animal skull put on his chest. So whether or not we're going to be getting answers for all these other murders, it's also, you know, one of those things that the families are now hoping for. But one of the things that this case has done was to also give hope to some of the family members to say maybe at some point we are either going to see police officers being, you know, put behind bars for what we saw on the 16th of August. And we're also going to be seeing who exactly was behind some of the murders that took place in the days before.
It's a poignant matter because it also takes place at a time where there are, again, those questions around police action or inaction and their inability to exercise restraint in moments of violence. And I guess it's in that respect that this becomes an incredibly important story too, to keep watching. Modisaotsile is the managing editor here on Newsroom Africa. As soon as those court proceedings, of course, get underway, we'll bring them to you live right here on Newsroom Channel 405.